Hey, everyone. It has been a while since I have gone live on Instagram, but I was going to record this as a separate video and I thought, you know what? Why don't I just go live on Instagram? That way it's easier to post. So here we are. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the updates that we made to some of the automations that we created yesterday using Integromat. Now, here's the thing. I think it's important to understand what we are doing here is we are literally automating every single aspect of our operations so that when it's time for us to show up or when it's time for our team to show up, literally all we have to do is step in and do what it is that we do best. So a lot of those administrative tasks, creating spreadsheets, copying and pasting, entering deals, doing manual sales, notes, all of those kinds of things we are looking to operate. So this is the first part of the process. I'm going to show you two different automations. And then, of course, if you have any questions, you can drop those down in the comments. OK. All right. So it all starts with the clarity form. So what happens is if you're interested in a clarity form, then we've got in a clarity call, then we've got a form that you fill out on our website and just says, hey, I'm interested in the clarity call. These are some of the questions that I have. So when you complete that form, what's going to happen is Integromat, which is the system which is the tool, I should say, the tool that we're using to connect these items in our system. Integromat is going to run that form through one of two paths. The first thing it's going to do is it's going to check ActiveCampaign. And if we already have a contact for you in our CRM, which means that you've contacted us about a clarity call or some other service before, then what it's going to do is it's going to take you down this path, actually. So if it finds that you are already in our CRM, it's going to pull up a list of your email address. So like if you have there should only be one contact. That's the point. That's the reason why we're using the email address as the identifier, but it should pull up a list, and on that list, it should only have the contacts with your email address in it. Okay. So once it does that, then it's going to grab your contact. And then from there, it's going to create a deal in the ActiveCampaign CRM. Okay. When it creates a deal, it's going to activate a pipeline that we have for any and everyone who is interested in having a clarity call booked. Okay. So from there, it's going to take information from this form, from the form that you entered in here, and it's going to add that to your contact details. So your company website, the name of your company, the services that you offer. Again, these are all questions that we ask on the form, as well as a space that we have on the form that gives us permission to send you an email. So it's going to add all of those pieces of information from the form directly into your contact. And then there's another question here that we ask on the form, which basically says, hey, what areas of support, what areas in your business are you looking for support with? And so it will add that to the contact. Okay. All of that information will be added to the contact. Now, ActiveCampaign does have its own forms. For me, I just prefer the look of ActiveCampaign forms to, I prefer the look of Cognito Forms to ActiveCampaign. So aesthetically, it just looks better for me. And that's the reason why we choose to use that form as opposed to using an ActiveCampaign form. Okay. So that's if you are already in our pipeline in some way. If it's your first time reaching out to us and that email address is not found anywhere in our pipeline, then ActiveCampaign is going to create a brand new contact for you. It's going to create a brand new deal, letting us know that you're interested. So it's going to activate that pipeline that says, hey, this person is interested in having a clarity call booked. Then it's going to add those same pieces of information into the contact. So both of these Both of these paths do the exact same thing. The difference is this is the path for those who are already in our pipeline in some kind of way, and this is the path for someone who is not in our pipeline in some kind of way. Okay, so I'm going to save that. Now, if I go here to my scenarios, I've got step 1, which is enter the clarity call pipeline. Step 2, if the form is approved, you'll be able to book the clarity call. I'll go ahead and click on that. I wasn't going to show that one because I showed it yesterday, but just in case anybody missed it. So here's what happens. Once you actually book your clarity call, Integromat is going to be watching our Acuity Scheduling for any new appointments. Okay. When you book that call, it's going to pull a list of the appointments, okay? And then it's going to filter those appointments by clarity calls. So it's only going to pull the clarity calls, okay? Then from the clarity call list, it's going to pull a list of contacts from ActiveCampaign from our pipeline, okay? And if you are on our email list, it's going to grab you as a contact and it's going to add a tag to you inside ActiveCampaign, which is going to move you to the next stage in our pipeline. Okay. Now, here's what's really cool. Once all of this is done, it's actually going to create a line item in Asana. So Asana is what we're using to build our client database. Okay. So what this means is there's no copying, there's no pasting. We're not creating spreadsheets. We're not, taking information from one place and copying it manually over to the next place. This will automatically create a line item in Asana as a new client in our client database. Okay. All right. So that's step 2. Step 3. Step 3 is completing the PreCall Discovery form. So we have a discovery form that we use, that we have you complete so that when you show up for your clarity call, we know exactly how to answer your questions. And the way that we do things is we are not here to give you answers that you could just find on Google, answers that would be good for anybody's business. What we are doing is we are looking to give you customized solutions that would fit for your company, not just your industry, but your company specifically. So it gives us an opportunity to do some research. So what happens when you enter into step 3? Okay. Into step 3, you're going to fill out that PreCall Discovery form. It's going to go through kind of the same process. So it's going to pull a list of contacts from ActiveCampaign. It's going to find your contact, okay? And then it's going to tag your contact, letting us know that you have booked your call. That's going to move you to the next stage in the pipeline that we already have built in ActiveCampaign. Then from there, it's going to pull a list of deals with your name on them. If this is your first time reaching out to us, you should only have the clarity call deal in our CRM. Then what it's going to do is, I'll show it to you. In the description of the deal, it's actually going to enter in the answers to the questions that you completed on the form. So when we look at you in our CRM, those answers are already going to be in your deal description. Now, if you're familiar with ActiveCampaign, one of the things that you'll notice is that while you can create forms that will put information into the contact, you can't really create any forms that put information directly into the description of the particular deal that you're working on with that person. So this gives us an opportunity to take the information from this form and insert it right there into the deal description so that it's easy to see, and we don't have to click the link or pull the PDF to watch or to read the entire we read the entire form, but you don't have to pull the link and download the PDF and go through all of that. It's automatically going to be added here in the deal description. Okay. Now from here, it's going to take one of 3 routes. So I'll open this. On our form, and I'll do I said this yesterday, I'm going to do an in-depth video next week on kind of what this means and what this data is and where it's coming from. But on our form, there is a question that basically says, listen, We're going to do the research to get the answers to your questions. But once we get you the answer to your questions, the next step in that is going to be you strategizing so that you can get ready to implement. Okay. So we're going to ask you, we ask you on the form, do you plan on strategizing this on your own? Do you plan on having your team do the strategy and implementation for this? Or would you be interested in having a strategy session or a virtual VIP day with us? Okay, so that question is here on the form. Now, if you answer that you would be interested in having a VIP implementation day with us, then what's going to happen is in your record in our client database, I'll open this up. It's going to find your record based on how we have it named here. It's going to find your record. It's going to add the link to your form. So remember, I said back here under update a deal that the answers to your questions are automatically going to be in the deal description. Well, in your client database, we also want to keep the actual link to the form. So it's going to update that field in the database with the link to your form so that anybody who's looking at the database can see the answers to those questions. And then there's a line item in the database for Clarity Call clients that says we internally named it service to be pitched, which means that at the end of your Clarity Call, if you have indicated that you're interested in a virtual VIP day with us, then we're going to present to you a short snippet of what that would look like for you. Okay. So it's going to change that. So in Asana, we have it as a drop down. Okay. It's going to change that to SAM VIP. Okay. If you show that, if you state on the form that you're interested in the VIP, okay, in the virtual VIP day. If you indicate on the form that you're interested in a strategy session, then what's going to happen is that same line item on your name in the client database, that same line item, okay, is going to be changed to strategy session instead of VIP. We still have the link here, so it's going to update it with the discovery call link, and it's also going to update it with the strategy session. So that lets us know that at the end of your Clarity Call, we need to give you information on what it would mean for you to have a strategy session with us, for us to strategize the implementation of those solutions that you received. Okay. Now, if you indicate here on your form that either you are going to handle the implementation or someone on your team is going to handle the implementation, then what happens is that same line item in the client database in Asana is going to be updated. And instead of VIP or strategy session, it's going to say neither. So what that means is at the end of your Clarity Call, we're just going to hand over the notes from the answers to the questions that you asked, any additional resources that maybe we discussed, and just send you an email that's got all the notes of everything that we talked about. And then from there, you are on your way to go. So I want to zoom out so that you can see what this looks like. It's the coolest freaking thing. Like that even looks like, I just think this is so cool. And next week, when I show you exactly how this works, the really cool thing about this is that when you actually run the automation, so when somebody actually fills out the form, if I'm looking at this, all of these will actually light up as it's going through the different steps in the automation, which I just think is cool. Maybe it's just it's a little nerd thing. I think this is like a little dinosaur or something that I created. I don't know, some kind of little weird looking creature. But anyway, that is just giving you an idea of how we are using Integromat to not only automate different parts of our operations, but to customize how that's done. Zapier is an amazing tool, but it does not allow for those custom fields, which again, I'll talk about that next week. It's not going to allow for those custom fields that allow you to really customize and really determine where you want that information to go in your different systems. So, or in your different tools. So with the way this system is working, literally all, if it's for the clarity call, I'm the one who typically does the clarity calls. Literally all I have to do is show up. I'm not entering anything into the database. I'm not entering any of the client information into the CRM. All of that is done for me. Literally, the only thing I have to do is approve the forms, which I can do that from an app on my phone while I'm getting a pedicure, and then show up for the appointment. So I just wanted to share that with you. Super, really, super, really cool tool. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. And if you would like to have some conversation around what creating smoother operations is going to look like for you, what automating some of those medial tasks is going to look like for you so that you can get more productivity out of your team and you can take yourself from working so much in the business to actually being the leader of the business, I want you to hit that link in the bio and book a clarity call with me, and we will go from there. Until next time, talk to you soon. Bye.